Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. All right, everybody. Hi, back. Good to be back. So want to go ahead and do some reaction to the game that just went final. Top 5 matchup in State College. The Ohio State Buckeyes hold on to beat Penn State in what was a much anticipated top 5 matchup. We were all excited about it all week, and we know what was at stake for both teams. Credit to Ohio State. Ryan Day was under that spotlight all week long. You lose this game, you're basically eliminated from the Big Ten championship game. Instead, they win. They're 7-1, and they are still very much in position to get to Indianapolis, play probably Oregon again, and of course get that get that first round bye, win the Big Ten championship, all that good stuff. At the same time, though, listen, we got to spend just a few minutes talking about Penn State. While I understand Ohio State's a top 5 team, while I understand that the Vegas will tell you they're maybe the best team on paper in college football, it doesn't change the fact that it is another crushing loss for Penn State against an elite opponent under James Franklin in a game where his play calling and his coaching is in question. And I'm just going to say it. I know it's a 12-team playoff era. I know James Franklin and Penn State are probably going to make that 12-team field. But I just don't know how you can feel good if you're a Penn State fan. Okay, the crazy part is, let's dive into this game. Crazy part is, Ohio State really, essentially, if you really break it down, conceded you 14 points. They basically gave you 14 points. Will Howard has that INT, the pick 6 early in the game. Penn State's up 10-0. They're feeling good. And then, as we know, right before the half, Will Howard fumbles on the goal line. It's a touchback. It would have been a score. So that's 14 points right there. Now, if you want to say Drew Aller threw the interception, right before the half, seconds before the half, okay. Bottom line, whatever. The point is, Ohio State gave you chances, and you could not take advantage of them. I think what would be especially frustrating for me, if I'm a Penn State fan, this one looked a lot like all of the other ones. You don't really have any real offense to speak of. You're talking about under 300 yards of total offense. You're talking about, a Tyler Warren big play, Drew Aller making plays with his legs. That was essentially the entire offense the entire game. And so it's frustrating, it's annoying, and we got to spend half a second talking about that series late in the game where Penn State got 0 points, because it was, listen, I try not to be hyperbolic, but sometimes I can be. It was some of the worst, and I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this, some of the worst goal line play calling I've ever seen. All I've heard is that, it's going to be different this year, Coach K, new offensive coordinator, whatever. It was a train wreck in the red zone, okay? So we all saw the game, but it is worth repeating here really quick. Tyler Warren has that big run out of nowhere. Listen, I know he's been making big plays all year, a Penn State fan, so I'm not trying to say it's this most shocking thing in the world. But he gets you into the red zone. He gets you on the goal line. And what do you do if you're Penn State? We all saw it. It was awful. First play, run up the middle. Drew Aller fakes the RPO, right? Whatever. Drew Aller kind of could cut outside. I'm sorry, I'm freaking out here, but could cut outside, hands the ball off. Second down. What do? Run the ball up the middle. By the way, there was 2 or 3 times where I sat there and said, if Drew Aller just keeps it, he's running in for a score. I understand he's got a bad knee. I understand he's hurt, but you have a chance to beat a top 5 team at home, essentially clinch a Big Ten championship appearance. You'd knock Ohio State out of the Big Ten championship picture, whatever. Instead, third straight run, third down. And then, of course, we all know what happened. Fourth down, you drop back, no creativity. Drew Aller throws into traffic, and it is a turnover on downs. Ohio State gets the ball back, and you never see the ball. You never get the ball back the rest of the game. And so if I'm Penn State, I'm furious, because you were right there. You had a chance. They were giving you opportunities. This isn't the best Ohio State team that has ever taken the field. And it was there for the taking. And again, you couldn't take advantage. Awful goal line play calling. And oh, by the way, let's get into some of the history now, because this isn't a trend. It is a trend. It's not a coincidence. The bottom line is you just can't win these games under James Franklin. I'm sorry. I don't know why, but I go back to last year. Last year at Ohio State, I was told, oh, Ohio State, this is the year they're built for. Penn State, they're on the rise. They're coming. What ends up happening? An Ohio State team that, frankly, was very limited offensively beats you. It's not even it's really not close. I know the final score was 20-12, but you don't score until the final possession of the game, long after the game was over. So that was last year. Then, of course, we know what happened late in the year. Michigan comes to Happy Valley. And I think people forget the circumstances around this. Do you remember that Michigan didn't even know who was coaching the team until an hour before kickoff? Remember, they fly in with Harbaugh while he's being investigated by the Big Ten. The Big Ten suspends him the final 3 games while they're in air. They land. There's talk about an injunction, and they're going to try to go to court, and they're trying to battle it and try to get him to coach on the sidelines. He doesn't coach. What ends up happening? Sherrone Moore takes over. They run the ball, whatever it is, 34 straight times down your throat. They beat you. And that was when I was officially out on James Franklin, because I just said, listen, this is probably the worst quarterback situation Ohio State is ever going to have. And Michigan didn't even know who was coaching them going into that game. And you couldn't pull off a win. And so you come into this year, you're back at home, no Michigan on the schedule. By the way, nice scheduling breaks for you. No Oregon on the schedule. Sounds weird. Not having Indiana on the schedule is all of a sudden very advantageous. And you start 7-0. Listen, you get credit for going to USC and coming back from a 2-touchdown deficit, but USC's kind of a trade wreck, aren't they? And so this was the game that was going to define who you were. We know James Franklin, what is he? Coming into this, 1-13 against top 5 opponents in his time at Penn State. 1-9 against Ohio State coming into this game. And what happens? There's another opportunity. You have the chance to do it again, and you just can't come through when you absolutely have to. And so to me, there's nothing else to say. That was as disappointing of a loss as you can, not because Ohio State's not a good team, not because your season's over, but because it just shows again and again and again and again and again that James Franklin is not the guy, cannot get it done against great teams at home, on the road, neutral field, whatever. We see the stats. We know the stats. They're indisputable at this point. And so Penn State fans, I totally understand your frustration. You deserve to be frustrated. You deserve to win one of these games, and you deserve to not have your coaching staff let you down when it happens. Now, listen, I know it's a 12-team playoff era. And that is important, and that is an important caveat. You look at Penn State's final 4 games, after today. You have Washington at home, Purdue on the road, Minnesota on the road is not easy, but that obviously should be a win. And of course, from there you wrap with Maryland at home. So you better finish 11-1. Even 10-2 probably gets you into the playoff. But man, oh man, oh man, it was there for the taking. You could not take advantage. And to me, it's just further proof that you are just never going to win at the highest level under James Franklin. If you enjoyed this video, do me a quick favor. Make sure to subscribe to the Aaron Torres Pod YouTube channel. New clips, new videos going up every single day. Make sure you're following on social media as well at Aaron_Torres on Twitter, at Aaron Torres Pod on Instagram. We'll be back with a full show on Sunday night. Appreciate